Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANSgear, and we're going to look at doing a basic install of a stock onto a 98 Custom. This particular stock I have right here is a Tippmann brand stock. It comes with both mounts for either a 98 Custom or an A5. It would go on to either one. It is a folding sliding stock, so it does both things. We're going to use a 98 Custom Platinum Edition with the ACT inside of it. Makes it a little bit easier to take apart. You only have to take apart the back half of the gun rather than trying to take apart both halves of the gun like on the older 98 Customs. So really we're only gonna need one tool, 1/8 inch Allen key. I'm gonna use a 1/8 inch bit on my mechanical driver here. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the 5 outside body screws, and they're gonna be just situated around the outside. We do not need to take off the grips or the safety or any other pieces if you're using one of the Platinum series. If you're using some of the older models, you might need to remove the grips off of it and the ASA off of it. But for this particular model, we don't need to. We're going to go ahead and pull these off. If you want to remove the screws all the way out of the frame, you can. But you need to then remember where they go because they're not all the same length. So we're going to go ahead and kind of pry this up. As we take this up, remember the spring is under tension inside here, so we don't want it to just shoot out and lose all our parts all over the place. So pay attention to where your back cap is sitting, and also pay attention to the trigger on the inside because the trigger does have the trigger spring and the sear, and we don't want to lose those parts or put them out of place. So we're going to kind of just hold everything down as we pull it out. Just do it in little sections at a time. And if everything does happen to shoot out, just refer to your manual on how to put it all back together. So we're taking that out. So we've got first half right here. It's going to come off. We'll set it over to the side. You can see our trigger guard fell out. That's okay. It's just going to go right back in the spot right there. A couple things we want to look at while we're got the body open is our ACT system. If you open up your gun and you only have one spring inside of it, you have the standard version, not the ACT. If you see 2 sets of springs, then you've got the ACT version. All of the new stocks, they all come with the extra hole in the adapter, or if you're using a stock that happens to have the adapter on the stock, it should have the hole for the ACT mods already. If it doesn't, and you have an ACT mod, you need to get the appropriate stock for the ACT version of the 98 Custom. All right, so first thing we're going to do after we've got it open is we're going to remove the back plug. So we're going to wiggle this up and get it out. Remember, this is under tension, so we do not want to just pull it out willy-nilly and let this thing shoot out across the room. Pull it out of there, set it to the side. You have to remember not to lose your bumper O-ring. This keeps the hammer here from striking into the back of the plug. It's just a safety bumper. So we're going to keep that on there. Make sure that your sear and spring haven't moved out of the way, that they're all in position still. And we're going to go ahead and install our adapter piece. Again, we're going to use the version for the 98 Custom, the A5, obviously, if we were using an A5. If you look at the plug itself, there's an indexed mark on one end of it or one side of it. This is going to be the top side. This makes sure that the plug you're putting in is oriented in the proper position when you go to put the stock on. If you do not put this in the right way, you won't be able to close both halves of your body. So we'll make sure when we put this in, we've got our ACT spring is going to go in the top hole right there, and then our main drive spring is going to go in the middle hole. Top, middle. Now we're going to need to compress this down and set it into place. Once you've compressed it down and set it into place, you shouldn't need to worry about it shooting out or moving anywhere. If it's in the right spot, it will stay there. Make sure that our bumper is where it needs to be. Now before we go and put the body back together, always check to make sure everything's in place, because you don't want to start putting something back together and then realize that things are missing. So our sear is in, our sear spring is there, all of our pins, our trigger, our springs, and our plug are in the appropriate places. We can go ahead and take our body, or our body cover I should say, and put it back together. Now as we put this on, things are going to want to move. So we have to be careful to try to keep everything in the spot as we put it all together. So we get our caulking rod to come through, our safety lever to come through, make sure that our trigger guard is fitting into position. We're kind of just going to push everything down until it's into the right spot. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten down our body screws again. All right, now this particular stock, we have to now attach the stock to the adapter plug that we've put in. If you're using a stock that had it as one piece, you'd be done at this point. But since we're using one that needs to go on, we're going to take our stock, we're going to slide it into the appropriate spot. And then your stock comes with a screw. Put your screw in and tighten it down. Now I'm sure you don't want to see me tighten this down, so we're just going to kind of leave it in a halfway position right here so it doesn't fall out. All right, so now I've got our stock on. We can collapse it, we can slide it, and if you ever wanted to uninstall it, you just do the process in reverse. So this is a basic install for a stock on a 98 Custom Platinum Series. Check this out and many other products at ANSgear.com.